Welcome back, YouTubers and supporters. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe for crazy content. And this is day 2, part 2 of my project car. Unfortunately, I lost part 1 videos for this project, which I was going to upload. I can't find them on my computer, not even with the recovering program. Luckily for you guys, a year ago, I did an integrated engineering front mount intercooler upgrade for my car, and you could just use those steps to basically remove your whole entire front end. But this is part 2, remember that. And because this is part 2 in this video for this scenario, you do have to drain your coolant out completely, and you do have to drain your oil out completely too. In this video, I'm going to be removing the whole entire front end, the whole brackets, the assembly, the radiator hoses, the coolant tank, and I might do the intake manifold, the coil packs, the coil harnesses, the timing cover, the cam cover, but I don't know, that may be in a separate video. But basically this whole entire front end. And how I'm going to be doing it is that there's going to be a couple bolts. There's a bolt right here that we have to take out. But since mine is broken, as you guys can see, it's going to be a little bit different with me. Because if you haven't seen my previous videos, like I posted a video a year ago when I hit a ditch, and my fog light broke. My bumper cover started popping out. My radiator bracket support clips, plastic stuff was broken. And if you haven't seen my other video, my installation on my aftermarket radiator with the water method injection port, it was kind of hard to get it clipped in because this clip was broken right here. I had to use some parachute cord to tie it in temporarily. So that means that once I take this off, I'm going to go to Audi directly to buy myself another original bracket. With all the other parts that's broken or whatever, I'm going to get them replaced at Audi. Like, I'm going to buy them all at Audi. And because of my last video, if you haven't seen part 1, please see part 1, because I did drain my coolant. I had to squeeze some of the hoses. I don't know if some liquid can come out there. Make sure you have the cap off so you relieve the pressure. And once you have that done, then you can begin unbolting the radiator right here. So I already taken this out earlier, but I'm going to show you guys again. You're going to remove that bolt out with the T30 Torx. Where is it? Well, that one right there, just T30. Then you're going to bolt it, take it off. You might get some pressure at first. My pressure lasted for about 10 seconds, just 10 to 30 seconds. Then the coolant started coming out just a little bit. That's the rest of the pressure. Relieved it. After I got that done, I'm going to go to my top of the radiator. I'm going to unclip the garage link harness. There we go. They're just clips. This one's already off. And then we're going to unclip this one as well. That's kind of hard, so like I'll just say the steps and then I'll do them at the same time. And then we're going to remove these clips right here on each side. What you're going to do is you're going to get a flathead, put it in there, peel that tab right there, that tab right here to my left. Once you peel it off, you're gonna push your finger under here at the same time and pop that out, and there you go. See that tab in there? That's the tab you need to get on both sides. And once you have that, you're going to disconnect the screw down here. There's a screw that I already taken off. It's this one right here. That's the support for the radiator bracket. And once you have that taken out, you can then begin going on the other side and removing the other hoses, because that's what I'm going to be doing, removing the hoses, and I'll show you that step by step. The next thing we're going to do is disconnect the coolant reservoir hose from the radiator. So you're going to pop that clip up. I don't have any fingernails to grapple that. Let's get some pliers and pull that off and then push it back. So I got some pliers and pull the tab up. What you're going to do now is you're going to use 2 hands, hold the radiator with one hand, and with the other hand, pull this tab as far as you can. If it's kind of hard, use like a plier or something just to like notch it off. And then once you do that, it should come off like that. Be careful not to break this, because this cable is really fragile. If you break it, it's $26. You're going to have to spend the Audi for a new one. And now that we got that, we're going to just move that off to the side without snapping it, because this is very sensitive. There we go. Pushed off to the side. Now that we got that, we're going to disconnect this hose right here too. And this is going to be a little bit tricky. With a bit of pressure from my pliers and with my hand, I kind of knocked it out to the side. Pushed it back. It was kind of hard, pressurized. Now that we have this hose disconnected, the water pump coolant hose to the radiator, it's now a little bit more loose. We still need to get this part off right here, which is connected to the right below the alternator right here. That's like an oil line. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that, but I'm going to skip that part for now and get to this bolt right here. Disconnect this bolt. Great. Oh, lost it under there somewhere. I'll look at it later. Anyways, now it's free. It's a little bit more free to move. We're gonna have to disconnect this hose right here. It's kind of hard and pressurized. I'm gonna cut the video. Be back when I take that out. So I got this bolt removed right here. Set that off to the side. And now we are going to disconnect that wire harness in there. The next thing you're gonna do is go on the right side, driver's side of the radiator. You're gonna take that clip up, and then you're gonna push it out. Like, I don't know, I used the hammer and this flathead screwdriver. Put it right here and just did a couple hits, and it just popped right out place. Now, the majority of the radiator is coming off. Now we're gonna disconnect the left and the right headlight brackets, and I'm gonna take off this screw right here, which is holding that in place. I use the T30 Torx to get that screw out. Next, you're gonna locate this bomb screw, which I practically unscrewed already. And then after that, we're gonna get to the one that's in there in the back. After we got that screw out right here, we're gonna go back to the top. We're gonna look at this little tab, push that off, and now we're gonna disconnect the wires and harnesses off of this. Do not unscrew those bolts. There's actually a clip. I didn't see that clip. You're just gonna disconnect that and I'll put it off to the side. So if you're wondering what I'm doing with all these parts and the bolts, I'm actually categorizing them. Like right here, I'm actually putting like a blueprint layout algorithm, whatever, like a layout of where the screws go. I've been writing details of where it goes, like radiator, top, left, clips and bolts and stuff like that. Same thing with the bumper defender and the bumper, the metallic bumper bar itself. Also, like this and the turbo muffler, the Canon intake and the turbo muffler delete. One person wants to buy that already, so that is for sale. And I'm selling a lot more of the parts in this car. We'll see pretty soon. But this is how it looks like right now so far. Now let's get to this side, because I still need to remove the radiator, the whole entire assembly out. There are a couple hoses and lines back there that I still need to disconnect behind. The same steps from that light to this bracket light as well is the same. Take off this plug. You're gonna see a bolt down there we have to disconnect. Unscrew actually. And another one right here. And here's the other one. And then you're gonna go right here and unclip that wire from this brown bracket. And you can set that off to the side. And you should be good to go. Alright, this screw is done. This one right here is also done. Whoop. There it is. And now we need to get the middle one down there. Alright, so the radiator is dropping a lot of coolant out. That's a good sign because I just disconnected this hose right here. And this one right here. Now that that's disconnected, the radiator is really loose. And I couldn't get this wire out right here. This module right here does not have to be disconnected because, as you can see, I disconnected that from this earlier, and that's what's connecting that module, so I don't need that. The last thing I need to disconnect is this hose right here, which goes all the way to the bottom of the alternator, which I'm still using a Torx screw to unbolt it. Let's see which size this is. T40. Alright, the radiator's off, and just to finish up the rest of the video, the bracket is basically this screw right here. This bolt, these 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts right there have to get out. Let's see. Same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a bolt under here. There's also a bolt under here which I have to take off. The screw right here. So using the 17mm socket, let me see if I could focus that. 17 millimeters. I was able to get these 3 screws out. So there we go. Now we need to get this top screw right here. Now that we got the small screw out, we can then disconnect it like that. And the same steps are going to go for the other side as well. And now that we got the 2 metallic front bumper bar holders, I don't know what it's called, out, we're now going to unscrew this screw right here, like we did with this one. And we're going to unscrew this bottom screw right here, like we did with this one right here. Have that right here, and I'm using the Torx T27 to do the bottom screws and a T30 to do the top screws. Alright, after we unbolted everything and it's very loose, do not take it out yet because we're still missing to take off the bolts for the hood latch right here. There's going to be 2 bolts. You can see them right there, 1 and 2. 3 actually bolts. We got to take that out. And there's a wire harness right here that we have to unclip as well. And we have to unclip the wire harness for the hood latch as well. So there's 2 things you gotta disconnect from over here. So now let's get our T30 or T27 to disconnect these 2 screws, right? These 3 screws right here. Now that we have the 3 bolts removed from the hood latch, we're gonna get a pliers or whatever, clip that out, and take this other clip out as well. And then we could just take the whole assembly out from there. Okay, I have no idea how to get this. I'm pretty sure I either have to disconnect these components or literally remove my fender, go under here, under my ECU to locate the hood latch or whatever. But I honestly don't want to mess with the hood latch. I think my best bet would just be to cut like a little hole right here, like a centimeter hole, like down that bar with a Dremel, just so I could get that wire out. Because I don't want to mess with the hood latch. Plus, this is already broken. Like, I don't know if you see that. I'm gonna get this whole thing replaced. Like, sorry for my unprofessional manners, but like, I'd rather not go through all that work just to get this wire out when I could just get a Dremel and cut that little thing out, and I'll be done with it. That's literally like all I need to do. And then the last thing I'm gonna be doing for today is the coolant tank. Literally, I have no battery in my phone left, but this is pretty simple. There's going to be a screw right here, another screw right here. You're going to lift this little metallic tab up and pop that off to the side. And then there is a hose at the bottom that you have to disconnect. And you can lift it out, and that's pretty much it for the coolant tank. So like, let's get straight to it. Wow, that was pretty difficult. I did not realize that this whole piece is made of aluminum or some kind of steel. I was able to Dremel through it. Not that bad. It took me about 5 minutes. And I got the harness out. Like, I think that's a lot easier than just taking all that out, honestly. Plus, this is already broken, as you guys can see right here. When it hit the ditch, it messed up, like, that whole left side of my car. So either way, I'm getting this replaced. And I'm going to do that same exact thing to the new one, or the used one. I might as well get, like, pre-owned or used ones are in good condition that I could still use. So like now that we got that out of the way, finally the hood latch. To get the coolant tank reservoir out, we're gonna use a wrench or a socket to remove these two bolts like I did right here. There's one. Let's get the other one out. There we go. And now we can get that clip up right here, this metallic clip, and then we can push the hose off out of the way. And now we could literally pull this thing out and then grab this. There's like a little silver clamp right there at the bottom. We gotta pull that tab out, push the hose off as well, and that's how we get the coolant reservoir out as well. And I apologize for using this because Androids like to do a little power save mode and not use flash while your phone has 12%. So now let's just get the tank out. That's just great. I need light. And we're just gonna get this out. And now we're gonna look under here and disconnect that hose. Now that we got that last hose off, we're gonna disconnect the sensor, which is a clip. Alright, there you guys have it. I need to get a tripod, honestly, and a better camera. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this actually helped you out. And I know like this is kind of unprofessional and so on, whatever. Give me constructive criticism, but don't give me fucking shit, honestly. Like, can you do this to your own car? And if you can, how can I improve? Anyways, this is what it looks like. And next week's video, I'm gonna remove pretty much the whole top of the car. Oh, what a day. What a day.